Whatever has been battling with you, if I be sent of God, I declare the Lord is your shield. As it was in Egypt, I open to you the door of uncommon promotion. In this year, the heaven is open for you. The heaven is open for you. In the name of Jesus.
Grace Life Church Oasis of Love Chapel presents Victory World Conference 2016. Theme: Open Heaven. It's 7 days of signs and wonders. Ministering Reverend Dr. Umar Upai, Pastor David Ibiomir, and Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo. Host Bishop Fechi and Reverend Mrs. Love Dan Onoha. The blind sees, the deaf hears, the lame walks, and the dumb speaks. Featuring Me Africa, Sochi Dan, Philip Charles, and Ibiranke Ibadan. Venue: 1 Grace Life Church Avenue off 256 Okboro Road, Eliohani, Port Harcourt. Date: Monday 13th to Sunday 19th June 2016. Time: morning 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., evening 5 p.m. daily. Come expectant.
With me, somebody. Philemon chapter 1, this is only one chapter, verse 6 says, acknowledging every good thing that is in you in Christ Jesus will make your faith effectual. But refusing to acknowledge what you have is the beginning of your failure. There is greatness in every man. You say, hey, this one is a tall person. That you are tall doesn't make any meaning. He said, but this one is short. It's not shortness. Tall people are there, they marry short ones. So it's not tall or short, it's not fat or slim. He say, I'm too slim, I am too. Begin to acknowledge what you have as a gift and as a potential. Praise God. What does this mean? In verse 28 of that book of Job, in verse 28, he says, he will redeem his soul from going down to the pit, and his life shall see the light. When you begin to have a revelation, you will begin to be redeemed. If there is a man, a messenger, who will show him his uprightness, then he said he will redeem his soul. Who will show him his uprightness? Then he will redeem his soul. This morning, I'd like you to know that every revelation brings a change of attitude, and that's what we call revival. And what does revival do? Revival brings divine visitation. I said during the all night, I said a dead man does not need a car because he does not need to go to anywhere. He only needs an ambulance to take him to the mortuary if he must be embalmed and kept in the mortuary. A dead man does not need a wife. He will not fulfill the responsibilities of a husband. So God, not giving a person what he or she needs, is to say to you, wake up, come alive. If what you are looking for is delaying, then you must check yourself and wake up and come alive. Why don't I come alive? To possess my possessions, to have your inheritance. Every divine visitation is ordained to change the levels of men from one level to another. It brings the proof of salvation. Revival is a proof that you are qualified to receive what you are asking for. Can you imagine a young man wondering why he does not have money, when all that God can see, that the little he has given you, you're already looking at which lady to take to bed in immorality. So he won't add more, because if he adds more, you can make it your stock in trade, and then before you know it, you die before your time. So you can add more. Because if he gives you more, he will finance your iniquity the more. No, you can't add more. So you need to first of all take up a syllabus of purity. Take up a vow of remaining strong in righteousness until you get married. And then you commit him to come down to give you the wealth. Because every man that has resources is just available for women who need the resources.
Grace Life Church Oasis of Love Chapel presents Victory World Conference 2016. Theme Open Heaven. It's 7 days of signs and wonders. Ministering Reverend Dr. Umar Upai, Pastor David Ibiomir, and Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo. Host Bishop Fechi and Reverend Mrs. Love Dan Onoha. The blind sees, the deaf hears, the lame walks, and the dumb speaks. Featuring Me Africa, Sochi Dan, Philip Charles, and Ibiranke Ibadan. Venue 1 Grace Life Church Avenue off 256 Okboro Road, Eliohani, Port Harcourt. Date Monday 13th to Sunday 19th June 2016. Time morning 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Evening 5 p.m. daily. Come expectant.
In Job 36:11, it says to obey and serve him. They can't obey until they are revived. So what does it say in verse 15? It says, he delivers the poor in their affliction and opens their ears in oppression. If you see a man who is afflicted, a man who is oppressed, is a man who has refused to hear. A man who has refused to hear. A man who is not revived. A woman who is not revived. Because before affliction comes, heaven will ring a bell for the child of God. So when the child of God refuses to hear, then the enemy is empowered, because the bell, the warning sign, the danger God gave was not responded to. And so what does God do when men are afflicted? He opens their ear. He opens their ear. When a man is afflicted in his finances and his ear still does not hear about tithing, he will remain there for too long. But when God opens his ear to hear, it means recovery has begun. Recovery has begun. When a lady is going through marital disappointment, from one man disappoint, another man disappoint, and she has not heard that marriage is honorable, bed undefiled, the affliction continues. The oppression, more disappointment continues, because God has not opened the ear, because she has not permitted the ear to be opened. Jesus said in Luke chapter 4 verse 18, I am sent by God. He said, the anointing of the Holy Ghost upon me. Why? To preach the gospel, the good news to the poor. That means I am sent to do one thing for the poor, to preach the good news to the poor. And I said to one of our staff a few days ago, any church that promotes welfare promotes poverty. Welfare, like Jesus in his ministry, was done twice. To give things to the poor. Crusade gave them food, they ate. Another crusade, multiply fish, they ate. Are you with me, somebody? That is as recorded. Do they have department for the poor? They have department for the poor. But you don't make it a style, or else you have sentenced the people's faith to the peanuts. No. The church is not just a social system, it's a spiritual system. But they involve in social welfare to help the weak. When a man has attended a church for 1 year, he should no longer be entitled to any form of welfare, because it does not take God a century to turn the story of a man. That you see the man in captivity means he has refused to hear what he is taught, and the God of the commission is not able to attend to him, because the word of God is powerful. I said to a man some time ago, I said, if you stay here for 1 month and your story does not change, God did not send me. But you do what you are hearing. So the stubbornness of disobedience is what makes affliction remains long. In Job 36:11, he said, if they obey and serve, they will spend their days in prosperity and their years in pleasure. If they obey and serve, if they obey, if they will hear. And so God says in verse 15, he opens the ear of the oppressed. He opens their ear and delivers them from affliction. That is how God changes the story of a man. That is how God changes the story of a family. And this morning, I see God bringing you into this revival in the name of Jesus Christ. Tell your neighbor, get revived. Say it again, get revived. Say it again, get revived. In 1 Samuel chapter 4 verse 5. The ark of God came to the land of the Philistines. No, it came to the camp of the Israel in the battle with the Philistines. 1 Samuel 4:5. The Bible says the earth shook. The earth shook. The earth shook. But you know what? The Philistines captured the ark. 1 Samuel chapter 5. Took the ark to the house of their god Dagon. Dagon bent down, bowed down, broke his head, died. The next day they put up again. Dagon broke his hands and broke his legs. They carried it to another city. God smote them with all manner of boils. They carried it to another city. God smote them with all manner of boils. Afflictions were upon them heavily. In every city they took the ark to. Hand of God was stretched against the people. The question is, why didn't this ark save Israel? Because Israel was not revived. You can be in the midst of God's presence, great grace, God's hand stretched out, but until you are revived to be a partaker, you will still be living as if there is no presence of God.
Grace Life Church Oasis of Love Chapel presents Victory World Conference 2016. Theme Open Heaven. It's 7 days of signs and wonders. Ministering Reverend Dr. Umar Ukbai, Pastor David Ibiomir, and Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo. Host Bishop Fechi and Reverend Mrs. Love Dan Onoha. The blind sees, the deaf hears, the lame walks, and the dumb speaks. Featuring Me Africa, Sochi Dan, Philip Charles, and Ibiranke Ibadan. Venue 1 Grace Life Church Avenue off 256 Okboro Road, Eliohani, Port Harcourt. Date Monday 13th to Sunday 19th June 2016. Time morning 6 a.m. to 7 a.m., 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Evening 5 p.m. daily. Come expectant.
This year, the heaven is open for you. The heaven is open for you. In the name of Jesus.